Today we're going to be reviewing Zorin OS 17.3. As Windows 10 comes to an end of life in the month of October, more and more people are looking for alternatives to Windows, and Zorin might be a contender for you. We'll discuss this in more depth on why this distro is a great choice for users thinking about switching from Linux to Windows. To start things out, I'm welcomed by the Zorin OS 17.3 tour. As we take the tour, we're just guided by the interface of what things look like. We can choose what our desktop looks like with the Zorin Appearance app, connect our online accounts, use one of the greatest tools which help you link your phone and computer called Zorin Connect. This one has received updates in 17. So we're going to be checking that out in a little bit. We also have updates to their new software store, which also has been redesigned in the last version, 17.2. And finally, we're ready to use Zorin OS. So Zorin OS claims that it's got new features, stronger privacy, and an even faster user experience. And they're making claim that it's going to be an ideal replacement for Windows 10, with the potential to even make your computer faster. One of the most notable changes is the software store. So we're going to launch it. In the software store, Zorin allows you to get all your wonderful apps. And if we go search for a tool, for example, Obsidian, well, what's neat now is if you hit the install button, we now have better support for the operating system telling us what is the most native version of the software. What does that mean? Let's say I had Obsidian, the executable, on the system. So I'm just going to download it from the web. If the system recognizes that you launch an executable, it now tells you that we can either install Windows App Support in order to get this app running from a true executable that would be meant for Windows, or we can try and see if we can install Obsidian with native Linux support. And this is exactly what it launches for you. You can now see the version that's available. You can select from where, if there's multiple repos that you can get the software from, but this is a native version. This will now work across the board wherever Zorin OS can find a substitute. I think this is a fantastic thing, as lots of new users don't know necessarily if there even is a native app available. Now they can just try and install their normal executables, and the system will guide them to whether or not there are compatible versions of their same favorite apps in Zorin OS. I think this is a fantastic win, and more distributions should take note of this to make that overall user experience easier, especially for users who are transitioning over from Windows. And that's one big deal here in Zorin. If we launch the Appearance app called Zorin Appearance, you'll notice there are many different options, including more desktop layouts that are available if you get the Pro Edition. We're going to talk about the Pro Edition, but here are the defaults that we have available for us. The current one selected is really more of a Windows-esque type of layout, more reminiscent of something like Windows 7, for example, but there are desktop layouts that almost exactly match what you would see in things like Windows 11 or 10. But regardless, we really have a nice feel here. You can also select between other versions. If you want a more minimalized version, the one on the right does that. If you want something that has more of a GNOME feel to it, you can select here as well. This happens on the fly, which is something I really like because it gives you the ability to really test things out really quickly. I mean, if you blink, you'll miss the layout change. Take a moment to subscribe below. YouTube can get finicky and you wouldn't want to miss another video like this. Also, smash that like button for me as it gets the video out to more people, and I would really appreciate that. So with the 17.3 release, they boast that you'll make your computer more secure, more powerful, and more reliable. And it's shown off that gaming can take place, what the desktop looks like, very Windows-esque, and just how to change over between workspaces. What I want to walk you through is the Pro Edition for a moment, because there are multiple editions and some might be confused about whether or not they have to get Pro. You do not have to get Pro. Pro comes with standard desktop layouts, including 6 premium layouts. Like I was talking about, the Windows 11 and Classic editions come with the Pro Edition, but for most people, the Zorin OS Core for basic usage is more than enough, as you get almost all the features. Now, there are a few things that they claim in Pro that's going to help you, including professional grade creative suite of apps, advanced productivity tools, bundled alternatives with almost $5,000 of professional software, And probably the most important here, well, maybe the last two are the most important, get technical support for installing Zorin OS. This is important to a lot of users, especially if it's your first time using Linux. The team can help you make that transition over. So the Pro at a price tag of $8, which includes the tax, helps you contribute to the development and get technical support for the most part. If you want to know what the professional grade Creative Suite is, they basically pre-install things that are much like what you would find on Windows, but it's not what you would find at Windows. You would have to use something like Wine in order to actually run native desktop apps on Zorin. What they're presenting to us here are things like Blender or Inkscape and other tools that would be pre-installed for you. You can still get these tools without having them pre-installed. So again, is there really a big reason to get the Pro Edition? Well, depends on if you need help or not. But one big thing I want to reiterate, Windows 10 is reaching the end of its life here in October of 2025. So this would be your opportunity to do things like try and make the switch. With Zorin's user-friendly interface that's much like Windows, its active community, enhanced security and privacy, this is a really good choice for users. Without making costly upgrades or replacements, their current hardware will just work. It's a big reason you may want to choose this desktop environment. Let's keep looking through. On the left-hand side, you have a start menu. When you click on the icon, you'll get various access to different things, including accessories, graphics, internet, office, sound and video, system tools, and utilities. You have your user, so you can log in and out. You also have options like that at the very bottom, and the mostly used apps, including the home users directories. You can also select all apps or search for them on the below. Now, the one thing I'll mention that's a big change here is something that you've already seen me use, but it is their default web browser. That's right, Zorin has made the switch over to using Brave as their default web browser. It used to be Firefox. And the reason being here, a lot of us have heard about the drama that has unfolded with the terms of use and the rollout of their new policies and some uncertainty in the future of Firefox. Well, here's why they made the change. Let's just read it out. A new default web browser. In light of Mozilla's recent policy changes, we no longer feel assured that Firefox aligns with our commitment to protect your privacy. This prompted us to revisit the choice of the default web browser in Zorin OS 17.3. When considering an alternative default browser, we set the following requirements. It has to be free and open source software, a general purpose, full-featured browser, privacy respecting, popular and recognizable, mature, and well-maintained. So with them reaching out to their community, they received feedback and they worked off that feedback. Here's the main things that allow you to keep your privacy on Brave for those of you unaware: shields against trackers and fingerprinting, private browsing using Tor, a built-in ad blocker, and the blocking of third-party cookies. So this is a big change, and I believe a lot more distributions are going to be at least questioning whether or not they're going to be using Firefox in the future. It's definitely an interesting step in a completely different direction for Zorin. Another cool thing in Zorin is the Zorin Connect feature, which has received an update. If we click on Zorin Connect allows you to connect your computer with a mobile device. A lot of us use mobile devices alongside our laptops or computers, and this is a great way to be able to share files and web links between devices, send text messages from either the phone or the laptop. It's a great tool. You can start setting it up if you haven't by hitting next. It will search for compatible devices, or you can install the mobile application on your actual phone. It's got to be an Android phone. It's not going to work with Apple. These are the things that you can do, again, with Zorin Connect. Sync notifications between devices. Again, it has to be an Android device with your Zorin OS desktop. Send files and photos between your phone and computer. See incoming phone calls and reply to text messages from your computer. Control music and video playback across your devices. Use your phone as a slideshow remote presentation pointer and send commands to your computer from your phone. So the newly redesigned app comes just in time for Zorin OS 17.3. We can see here that it's a new app that sports a redesigned interface, which also follows whatever your Android phone's setup is. So we can see this improvement. And another new feature in Zorin Connect is the remote input function that allows you to use keyboard and mouse from your phone. As you can see the demonstration here on how they use the gyroscope in order to click and use their phone as a mouse, which is kind of cool. I mean, maybe if you watch TV or something like that, this would be a kind of a cool feature because you'd have a remote control all based off of your phone and you can go around doing stuff. It's very interesting. Definitely a cool new feature. Basically, your phone becomes your computer, which is pretty cool. Also, there are some new quality of life refinements throughout the app. Share web links to disconnected computers. Allow having the home screen widgets for different computers. Send album art for playing media from a phone to computer. Direct share targets in Android share dialogues. Allow filtering notifications from a work profile. Add more fine-grained notification channels. Search by app name in the notification plugin setting. Add the option to cancel pairing requests after sending it, accessibility improvements, and then, of course, bug fixes and performance enhancements. Because not only did Zorin Connect get updates, but there's been improvements to touchscreen devices. So now we can actually set the screen, keyboard, button, and panel so we have easy access to our on-screen keyboard. Let me show you how that works. So if you go down and you go to your Zorin appearance, we can go down to interface and toggle on the screen, keyboard, button, and panel. Once you do this, you'll notice down here that we now have the screen, keyboard, button. We click on this, and now we can use our keyboard on screen. This is actually really nice. Zorin is focusing their time and effort into making the desktop experience more mobile friendly. As more and more people go mobile, especially while doing almost everything on their phones nowadays, well, it is nice to see that they are following up and following through with trying to make the desktop experience even more mobile friendly. Who knows, maybe in the future, a lot of our desktop environments end up directly on the phone. Regardless, it's another new welcome feature. And just something I realized while using the system is with the new keyboard that's on screen, when it launches, they have a little bit of an animation, but it's a little bit slow to respond, at least on my system. For example, when you go to an input field, like type to search, you click on it, it takes a little bit to come out. And once you go away from the input field, the keyboard goes away because we're losing focus. But that's not the real problem. The bigger problem is you would expect the keyboard to pop out and be the very first thing indexed on the main window screen, meaning the keyboard be able to start clicking on it and using it without losing my dialogue and it being the very first thing to show up. So a little bit of issues with that still. Also, I'd like when I'm using my regular keyboard to either be able to see how the text is being typed also on the on-screen keyboard. There's definitely a little bit of work and optimizations that can be made here. Regardless, I do like the route that they're taking here. Also, when it comes to better security and compatibility, this latest build comes with the NVIDIA 570 drivers. So those of you with the latest NVIDIA RTX 5000 series graphics cards can now use Zorin OS as well. Also, there's been a ton of security patches integrated throughout the system, and you get continued support all the way up to June 2027 with this latest Zorin OS 17. Not to say that you'll lose support, you'll just have to upgrade at that point. So those are things to take into consideration when using an older computer. But let's be honest here, with this being Linux, it has amazing backwards compatibility, probably for decades to come. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, what's the resource usage look like here on Zorin OS? I launched HTOP here so we can check things out. The CPU is currently running somewhere between 0 and 4%. The memory usage is 1.18 gigs out of 7.74 or 8 gigs on the system. We're running 112 tasks and we have 252 threads, and it's only been up for around 6.5 minutes, closer to 7 now. Overall, 1.18 gigs for this modern of a desktop environment is fantastic. It feels like they've optimized GNOME here and made it even better with all of their various different layouts while still remaining below most modern desktop environments. Fantastic work by the team. The other thing that I have to do is turn off this keyboard. It just keeps popping up everywhere and it's starting to get a little annoying. Let's do this, and that updates things. Very good. Now we'll run NeoFetch to check out the system. So this is Zorin OS 17.3. We're running kernel version 6.8. We've been up for 7 minutes. There are 1,924 source packages, 13 flat packs. This comes with GNOME 43.9. We're using the Zorin Blue Light theme, and this is being tested on an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X series and we're currently using around 1.25 gigs of RAM out of 8 gigs of RAM. Again, I can't understate how fantastic of a distribution this is for Windows users. As the Zorin OS team takes extra effort to help you onboard with things like apps and games, they talk about Windows app support and how to actually install and run Windows applications in Zorin OS. What's fantastic is Zorin OS allows you to run many Windows apps using the Wine compatibility layer. Please note, of course, that all Windows apps may not be fully compatible with the Windows app support in Zorin OS, but it tells you which first steps to take and how to run files like executables and MSI files on your system. They do make it super easy because if you wish to install Windows apps, you just need the extra layer called Windows App Support, which runs apps in Zorin OS with things like Wine and Play on Linux. They also talk about how to play games, of course, from Windows and Steam and other platforms. They just lay things out in a simple to read manner and make it even easier to follow on their operating system. A lot of you are going to wonder, okay, how do I get things set up here? Just type in Windows and you'll see this Windows App Support. This will start installing the basic necessities in order to get Windows App Support here in Zorin OS. Notice it's a Zorin OS package. That's a source package. We simply hit install and then we can run through some of that documentation if we need further help. But it's as simple as trying to run a executable thereafter, installing the support and seeing if it is compatible to run here in Zorin OS. Make that pretty easy because when you install things like Wine alone, it can become cumbersome, especially for new users. This is why Zorin OS is a great choice. You have a free edition, you have the paid edition if you need some help. It's a familiar desktop that you already know how to use. Overall, they're doing great work and they continue to do great work with this upgrade to 17.3. It is interesting to see them go over to Brave browser instead of using Firefox, as they have used that for quite a long time. We'll see how that all pans out. And if you're one of those people who can't upgrade past Windows 10, I highly suggest checking out this Windows-like distribution called Zorin OS. I hope you enjoyed the review today. It's been a while since I've done one. It's nice to get back into it. And if you made it to the end, you're a true fan. Thanks for watching the entire video. Make sure to subscribe below if you haven't. Also, smash that like button on the way back up. Catch me in a great community on Discord, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching.